services, that's down $45,000 from last year. So our budget is actually less than last year.
Any questions for Mr. Fisher? Council Cahill.
Thank you. I just have kind of a general question. You have a board of assessors, right?
We do every week. We assess it up. And the public meeting law. We meet once a week on Friday mornings, usually between 9 and 10 o'clock in the morning. And go over where the business is that we're looking forward to or need to address.
I'm just curious because a lot of cities and towns you see board of assessor meetings or well, I guess they're attending some group level. And then somebody posed a question to me about what our board meets, and I had no idea.
Friday mornings you'll see actually down on the board outside the door when you come in. It's also posted at the city clerks and out front.
You know, I know meetings when we talk about maybe putting that on at a time, like Tuesday nights when some of the other meetings can be attended by the public. Because I know there's some boards in City Hall that kind of meet during the one of the day, and it's virtually impossible for people in the public to actually go to those things. So we tend to be meeting long.
Sure, I mean, we'd be very flexible.
I'd be very interested in actually sitting in on it too, because I think I can learn a lot about assessment, which I think is well. So going forward, talk about it.
Absolutely.
You don't have to work around our schedule, please. I know like the traffic commission meets and the planning board meets on off nights. I would just probably really keep the board assessment.
We're not really excited.
But if you work on that, I think a couple of boards in this.
Kind of like this.
Yeah, exactly. I don't know what was it was the year tonight, but if you could talk to Peter about that, I'd be very interested in moving that.
Absolutely.
Thank you, Mr. Fisher.
Thank you.
Harbor Master, page 71.
This doesn't change often in this budget. I see a little increase in repair maintenance, outside services. Other than that, we made pretty much the same as it has the last 7 years.
Any questions? Council Craig.
Mr. Carr, I just wanted to get a quick update on some of the capital improvements that are being made down there. Is there any action on the dock improvements?
Well, as far as the Harbor Master's office goes, no, but the harbor's alive. We've got a lot of projects going on within the harbor. We've got a big project planned for Seaport Marina. As you know, the Washington Street Extension project is almost completed with phase 2. We'll be meeting with the Seaport Bond Council on Thursday to talk about phase 2. Yeah, there's a lot going on in the harbor.
With the pending construction, Seaport Marina specifically.
Well, we're entering into, community development is entering into the agreement to replace the floating concrete float system. We're replacing the pilings. And keep in mind that a marina in New England usually lasts about 10 or 11 years. And Seaport has done well and maintained well for the last almost 25 years. When you take equipment and put it in salt water and sea conditions, it deteriorates quickly.
As far as the revenue and the slipping, does that fall more under control of community development, or is that something else?
That's community development.
Oh, thank you.
Any other questions? Thank you, Mr. Carter.
Thank you.
Inspectional Services, page 30.
Councilors, budget that is in front of you shows an overall increase from the last year's fiscal budget of $967,471, approximately 7.3%. This includes the 1% increase that was allowed by the mayor and an increase with a new line item of $750,600. that is intended for miscellaneous repairs in the Lynn School Department. This would be an increase over the past year's spending to make repairs in those buildings. We currently have another capital repair line of $750,000, so this money is not for capital repairs, but it is for repairs. So it's a very big help in targeting the many needs of the buildings, which seem to get older and older every day. There are no large changes in the budget, with the exception that approximately $500,000 or so in payroll has been shifted to the expense side to increase HVAC line, repair lines, through attrition. We've had a number of people leave. It was 12, 13 people leave the department this year, both on the inspectional side and the facility side. And the money, some of the money was pushed over to the expense. We have outsourced our food protection program with the retirement resignation of both food inspectors, and that money has been put into an expense account to pay for the contractor to do food inspection in all restaurants. Other than that, I'm happy to answer any questions anybody may have. Councilor Seer.
Thank you, Mr. President. You know, Mike, and the lady, what I'm going to say, I know it's not your fault, but to see $20,000 allocated for the roads in the same way is just unacceptable as far as I'm concerned. I think the mayor's got to put more money there. Inspection services has to figure out a way to do something because, I mean, we've reached epidemic proportions of the city. I mean, it's just unbelievable the amount of roads and probably more than 50% of the phone calls that I get, and I think some of the other councilors they get the same thing. And I know a lot of it has to do with the way people maintain their properties and their trash. But it's just, the more I drive around the city, the more unkept yards I see, the more the way people put their barrels out on trash day. And I mean, it's unacceptable to me, it's unacceptable to the people who live in my ward. And, you know, I got my butt reamed out by a number of people last night as I walked through the ward because of roads. And people feel as though the city's not doing enough. I know it's not your fault that you got your hands tied due to budget constraints, but as many of them said to me last night, they don't care, it's unacceptable. And I mean, I'm all for hiring more police officers and firefighters for public safety, but this is a public safety issue. You can't let the kids play in their backyards. No matter what street you drive down at nighttime, you can, you know, at one time or another, you can see the rat. They're the biggest gang in the city now. They're causing more problems than crime, to be perfectly honest with you, as far as I'm concerned. So I just put my 2 cents to you as many people did to me in the last few days.
Okay. Could I respond to that? There's more money than $20,000 spent on road control because I had one inspector assigned full-time to this. So with his salary, we would probably spend about $75,000 a year directly and indirectly. I've added inspectors going out on the weekends. We've targeted some areas in the city and walking out. We've tried education first, dropping leaflets, talking to people, and then we're using enforcement and writing citations. However, I mean, the city of Lynn undoubtedly has a rodent issue. But the rodents didn't come here just by chance. The rodents came here because a number of the citizens of Lynn, and it only takes one house in the neighborhood to ruin that neighborhood, do not comply with basic sanitary codes. And a number of these locations are, surprise, surprise, owned by absentee landlords from out of town. I just got off the phone with an individual yesterday who called to complain. Chatham Street, the tenants are throwing the trash bags off the 3rd floor rear deck down to the yard before they carry them out front. We can only write so many citations. We do not have criminal arrest powers. Some of these people should be arrested for their actions, whether it's ignorance, whether it's lack of education or whether they just don't care. We run into a problem even when we issue citations, because if they don't pay it, it goes on the taxes, we'll chase them that way for the money, but that doesn't correct the problem. So what happens is we're taking on more and more criminal complaints. I believe we have about 14 or 15 criminal complaints against landlords right now in the Lynn District Court. And I hate to tell you how seriously the court system will take a criminal complaint on the road. They will dismiss it, they will give the landlord 30, 60, 90 days to correct the situation. So our hands are pretty much tied in how we can get people to comply. We haven't done the one thing we could do, and it's something to explore and we, the council's consent, would be to change the ordinance to make the fines ever increasing. So that we go from a $100 fine to a $300 fine to a $1,000 fine to a $10,000 fine, to the point where we don't need to bring these landlords to court. We need to hit them where it hurts the most, is in their pocketbook. Because the problems that you talk about, I probably have those addresses on the list in my office. And we go there, and it's difficult if I can't get their attention, and the only thing they look at is the dollar. And without a dollar being attached to them for their negligent behavior, and I will say negligent because they do own the property and they have a duty under the law to maintain it. Our hands are tied. The $20,000 that we do spend, we purchase bait and traps, and bait boxes, and we try to get them to people, but it's physically impossible, nor would it be right for us to be maintaining individuals. We'll help you get started, we'll go there, we'll target a neighborhood, we'll do some baiting, but for the city to provide services on a daily basis to people's yards would be, I think, something we can't do. I mean, I welcome any help we can get with the roads, but until we can change people's behavior, this is not an excuse. I would like more tools to use. And I probably, at this point, will need to come in front of the council and ask if they can. Sounds sincere.
I'd like to respond to that. Everything you're saying, I hear. But citizens just have had enough. And so have I. And I know that, you have such a limited amount of people that come out and do that. I mean, if it takes, as a city councilor, and this is unprecedented, but I'll write the citations. Give me the right to write the citation. I mean, I have numerous properties in numerous areas of my lot that don't comply. I mean, there was one house, or housing, whatever you want to call it, 12 units, where there was a truckload of trash and it's put out there every single weekend. And it's put out there with barrels with no lids on it, overflowing, all the bags are ripped, torn, the bottom of the barrels, you can see where the rats have gone in there. And as these people are taking the trash out, the rats are running out of the shed. And I mean, I've got people that have filmed in a 40-minute time period, and I didn't believe it until I saw it. But they filmed over 20 rats in their backyard in a 40, and then these people maintain their backyard. They take care of it. They're being inundated by the pigs who live around, to be honest. It's so upsetting. And I'm going to give the floor to my fellow comment. And I know it is not your fault. But the other person, they vented on me and I'm venting on you right now. So,
Thank you, Councilor Sarah. And I know that there are a lot of councils that are very passionate about the same issue and probably would repeat a lot of the same horror stories of Councilor Sear. And I know it's all over the city and you guys work very hard. But I'd like to try to stay focused on the budget that we have in front of us. So with that, Councilor Capano.
Yes, I won't repeat a lot. I agree with a lot of what Council Sear said. I share the same frustrations, and I know tried in the past, to add more money. And and I remember working with Council Macken and others for the trash ordinance. And I know we can't add to the budget here. We can only cut from the budget, but I would like to at least, send a recommendation to the mayor. I'm sure it should be amicable to discussion anyways, because I think that, like Council Sears said, ISD is doing everything they possibly can, but we need to do something to have a bigger impact on the problem. So, you know, I don't really have a dollar amount, I don't know what that is, but I would like, before the budget is finalized, to at least have that discussion with the mayor, maybe with a couple of ward councilors, and to see, and ISD to see, you know, what we could do to have a bigger impact on this, because I really, I couldn't have said a lot of things much better than Council Seer. So I don't know if that would take a vote of the council.
If you'd like to make a motion to send a letter of recommendation to the mayor to increase that line item budget, it would obviously be at the mayor's discretion. That would be an appropriate motion for this committee.
I would like to make that motion.
Motion made, seconded. Discussion on the motion. Roll call.
Council Barton? Yes. Council Cahill?
Yes.
Yes. Council Capano?
Yes.
Yes. Council Calucci? Yes. Council Creighton?
Yes.
Yes. Council Seer?
Yes.
Yes. Council Ford?
Yes.
Yes. Council Lozey?
Yes.
Yes. Council Net? Yes. Council Phelan?
Yes.
Yes. Council Trahan?
Yes.
Yes. 11 yes.
And since we have a council meeting immediately following this, and the budget is coming up next week, would you like to put emergency on that?
Yes.
Roll call on the emergency.
Council Barton? Yes. Council Cahill? Yes. Council Capano?
Yes.
Yes. Council Calucci? Yes. Council Creighton?
Yes.
Yes. Council Seer?
Yes.
Yes. Council Ford?
Yes.
Yes. Council Lozey? Yes. Council Net? Yes. Council Phelan?
Yes.
Yes. Council Trahan?
Yes.
Yes. 11 yes.
Any other questions for Councilor Trahan?
Thank you. It's actually not a question for you, Mike, but I'd just like, he's not here tonight, but I'd just like to mention Charlie Gaynor of Lynn and all his group. They've been outstanding in my ward. They come down last year on Fayette Street. We did a couple of weekends. We brought down dumpsters and cleaned out the whole neighborhood, and you know, they've gone around and put the traps and really tried to help us, along with Jim Wilson and writing the tickets. And I'd just like to mention them and thank them, because they've really been a big support, I'm sure. Council and Council Seer used them in the past. And, you know, I know they're not here tonight, but I just would like to say thanks to them for all that they do for us.
Any other questions? Councilor Net?
Thank you, Mr. President. I will go back to the budget. Okay. I have a question for Director Dunman. Outside professional technician general. So this year, the estimate is $6,475, and next year you ask for $91,000. So why it increases? Just want to know, you plan to hire more outside?
Yes, that is the increase is related to the outsourcing of the food protection program with the retirement resignation of the 2 food inspectors. We've gone to a private firm that gives us a little bit more flexibility, and as they're not employees, we pay them out of expense. So that represents the transfer of essentially the salary that we were paying the inspectors to the expense side to hire the outside company to come in and do the inspections for restaurants, convenience stores, supermarkets, etc. And we pay them per inspection for their work.
Thank you.
Councilor Creighton?
Mr. Dunn, just a quick question on the line item. So I assume that's the payment we pay for waste management for all of our public buildings, is that?
Actually, no. It's called the RESCO line item because we didn't change the title, but that's the dumpsters. When we do cleanouts, we haul away and has, you know, this year we had to go clean out some chemical labs. We clean out at the end of the school year. Essentially, that number goes towards any dumpster charges that we would have for whether it's an in-house construction project or cleaning out the schools. That's how we pay for our dumpster removal, not the dumpsters that the daily trash is picked up in.
In terms of the daily trash of the public buildings, whether it be the schools or city halls, some of the administration buildings, is that articulated in these lines? Is that separate?
The schools pay for their own trash removal. Most of the trash removal is food waste, and it comes out under money they get. I believe it's through some type of grant for food. It's paid through their food line item somehow. I don't know exactly the details, but they do take care of that waste.
The reason I asked, we've had conversations about this in the past, but as far as the guess the school buildings or city hall specifically in terms of recycling. I think we can be doing a better job. I know we have single streams in the city, and this maybe fall more in the DPW discussion, but just in your opinion, would it be a marginal expense to, I guess, increase our participation with the single stream structure throughout our school buildings where I can throw a can of soda in a paper disposal? Would that increase or decrease any of the waste payments other than just making the earth a little greener?
No, you're right. I didn't participate in the last contract that was drawn up with waste management regarding the schools, and we started recycling essentially then in a larger scale by putting standalone dumpsters in the schoolyards for paper at the big schools. So it wouldn't cost, other than if there was an additional charge to pick up if they were very successful and we had to pick up more than once a week, it would be minimal cost to increase the recycling program to the same stream.
Okay, well, we'll continue that conversation. Thank you.
Any other questions for Mr. Donovan? Council K.
Thank you, Mr. President. Mr. Donovan, just because it is fresh in our minds, it piques a little bit of my interest. There is a line item on page 31, just above the rest of it, that says, snow, I'm assuming removal, Resco, and then it says DPW, grounds, SKP.
Groundskeeping.
What's that?
The DPW essentially takes care of most of our outside grounds. We have a private contractor that does the mowing, but the DPW, we DPW workers on overtime to do tree trimming, to pothole repairs, to plant trees, to do minor landscaping projects in the schools. And it's cost effective. They have the equipment, they have the manpower, and they can do some work for us.
So just to be clear, you're paying DPW workers out of your budget for work on grounds that you are responsible for?
Correct. It's a practice that's been going on for a while. I mean, back when I was commissioner to DPW, associate commissioner, excuse me, it was like the first year that DPW took over the responsibility for mowing, supervising the contracts, because back at that time, the custodians local, the union, essentially the school department divested themselves of the outside grounds work. The union no longer became responsible for that, so it had to go somewhere. So it went to the DPW because that was the next logical city employee that would take care of that. In that line item too, because we will pay the DPW workers from our payroll salary. The expense line is for any equipment they may have to, if we want to plant a tree, we could buy the trees, buy the mulch, buy the plantings, into irrigation fields. So we employ them on an overtime basis, which is not uncommon in the city, because the DPW will do the same thing when it needs to man its snow removal operation. They will employ some of my employees to go either drive a truck or work down as a route chaser. Cooperate with each other is the best way to put it, to try to get our personnel who know the city and know what needs to be done because they've worked positions before to do it.
I have a problem with the practice. There's a lot of questions lately about how we budget things around here, so I just want to be crystal clear on what we're doing. So within this line item, there's also, you said, payroll in overtime?
This expense line item, $55,000, is directly for either outside contractors or supplies. The largest outside contractor in that line item would be the mowing contractors. And then we have supplies, mulch, again.
You said that this is the $55,000. What about the $225,000 one? That's what I'm talking about, just about the 2904S.
That's snow removal. We have a contract that went out to bid, Menino Construction was a low bidder. It's $190,000. It's a contract that the industry is going to these days. We pay the contractor a set fee, and he takes care of all the snow removal for the entire year. Prior to that, we used to pay by the storm event and by the inches of snow that fell on the ground. So we would never have a good handle on how much we would pay in a given year. We always ran over the 225 line item because storms would be 0 to 2 inches, 2 to 4 is a different sum, 4 to 6, 6 to 12, and then over 12 was on an hourly rate, which got real expensive. So what we did, we put out the bid. These are our buildings. You know how much snows in New England. You know how many through approximately.
And you saved like $55,000, didn't you?
Right? We saved a lot of money by doing that.
But why do we call it that? Because I guess everyone gets obsessed with what we call things on our budget. So just because everyone makes a big deal out of nothing, I'd like to know why we call that. Maybe we can call it something just so someone doesn't think that you were stealing $225,000 worth of it.
We could change, with the cooperation of the finance people, we can change the line items, but we just can't change them too much because then when you try to look back in prior budgets, then you kind of lose the continuity. I suppose if we keep the organ objects the same, people should be able to follow the budget through, but one of the things that people don't want us to comment into doing would be to change orgs and items every year, change line items, because then you won't be able to follow how the money is being spent from year to year to year.
The numbers don't change, so they're just a word. I'm just talking about the word. Yeah, I know it sounds petty, but we've just gone through a very petty process. So I'd just like to clean things up.
The majority of that money, obviously in there too, is we have snow blowers in the school that have to be, repaired. And we have sand, I shouldn't say sand, we don't use sand anymore, but salt and ice melt.
That's a snow, sand, and ice line.
Yes, that's all expense, and we can follow right from beginning to end. That's the way we spend the money.
We could do like an AKA or something like that. That'd be very appreciated.
Councilor Trahan.
Thank you, Mr. President. Maybe I can clear this up for Dan a little bit. Actually, Mike saved us a lot of money in this. I know a lot about this over the years. This has been like first storm, like the snow over the schools, and it's running to $300,000, $400,000, $500,000 now that we're taking in. Did it for a season contract where he gets paid this amount, no matter how much snow. And it's, like I say, I recommend Mike. He saved us hundreds of thousands of dollars, and they do a great job. And I can see where he's carried this in DPW, trimming the trees, and just come over and kind of like everybody works together. Like when there's a blizzard, everybody comes out of water and soil, even those guys, they come out, they'll drive the trucks, and I know everybody working inside City Hall, they come out and they'll help, so it's kind of what this is, and there's nothing misled. Clearly, helps you, yeah. Helps you.
Any other questions? Councilor Net.
Director Donovan, I'm so delighted to see you plan to purchase lights for Dairy Park. My question is, so how many lights you plan to buy? I know we spoke this before in your office, but I feel like I want to hear from you one more time.
Yes, the mayor had put this in the budget this year for us to redo the lights at Barry Park. The existing lights there have been condemned, the wiring is gone, and I don't have the exact number in front of me. I did not, unfortunately, come prepared to answer that particular question, but the field lighting will be done over the course of the summer so that the lights will be operational for use for the fall. I believe it's about 100 teams that are out there in the fall.
And if I remember correctly, you mentioned that each light costs about $100. Is that correct?
The lights can be very expensive. I mean, I'm not quite sure of the fixture. When we did the park lights over to Fry and to Breed, we won't be doing that same type of light. Those are baseball and softball lights. We'll be doing a smaller pole, because those poles there will run $45,000 to $50,000 a piece in place. So this will be a smaller pole. I believe there are wooden poles out there now, and the intent is to put new lights on those poles and to replace the underground wire, so that it meets the code and there's no danger out there, because it was direct burial cable, if I'm not mistaken, and over the years, the coating on the cable got damaged, so now the system will just short itself out.
Thank you so much.
Any other questions? Thank you.
DPW, page 76.
sorry that my voice is a little off. But I'm glad to be in front of you, Councilor. And the budget that you have in front of you is a level funded plus 1%. I just want to let you know that I took over the DPW on May 1st. And since then, I only have about a week to discuss the budget with my daughter, with Jane Fink. I've been in the DPW for the last 12 years. And I have worked on the my daughter for about 6.5 years. On Jane Fink for the last 7 years. They normally deal with the budget. I used to work together with them, especially on the sanitation budget, and it's about $5.5 million. And but I will have the opportunity to discuss the budget as you have, and please ask the questions.
Thank you, Mr. Vice President. Commissioner, I look this line by line is very impressive, but I have one question. This is a good question to ask you. I see the maintenance of equipment, so you ask a lot less than previous year and this year. So that means we have good equipment and you don't need any more equipment, you don't need to fix anymore. Is that right? Could you explain it to us, please?
Well, last year, the Department of Public Works received $305,000 from the mayor's office to buy equipment. The equipment that we purchased was a sweeper, and then we bought a front end loader, and other type of equipment, and the trucks with the box in the back that we've been using around to place snow in different places to pick up the snow. So that doesn't mean that we don't going to need equipment. And this year, I want to be able to invite the City Council representative of the Department of Public Works. In this case is Wayne Losey, because I would like to talk to him about the proposal that we have a couple of years ago to bring to the Department of Public Works $1 million to buy additional equipment for us to be very prepared to fight any snow that is coming forward.
Mr. Commissioner, just another quick question about sanitation. Last year, I believe there was a pilot program, a very small area that I believe the program consisted of DPW or waste management providing recycling bins to a limited amount of people, and essentially they would put the curbside, the truck would come out and pick them up without manpower. Waste management saves money, the city stays a little bit cleaner, and I was curious, one, how that program went, if you're able to answer it, and if there is anything in the pipeline for this upcoming fiscal year.
Last year, we were able to, together with the Department of Environmental Protection, to implement a site administration project. We used 3 areas. One, it was visibility, because we wanted everybody to see what was going on. We give it to 1, 2, and 3 family households. Everybody that participated in the program liked it, because we put a questionnaire, and when they responded, excellent feedback, 90% feedback on everybody in the city wanted to have one of those recycling toilets. Now, at the end of the program, we prepare a recommendation to the mayor's office, and we put the numbers of the people that participated, and we quantify how much money the city would be saving if we were to go and provide toilets citywide, almost to 33,000 people. Now, you remember that the city council approved legislation to reduce the amount of trash at the curb from 6 to 3, and the mayor vetoed it. Now, the numbers that we prepared for the mayor to review, that was an incentive for the Department of Public Works that any municipality who reduced the amount of trash that is put in the curb, it was going to be given $5 discount in every toilet that we buy. But because the city never approved the legislation that you guys approved, we cannot benefit from that. So right now, it's in the back burner. We're just waiting to go citywide. I would like to do that. The only way single stream recycling works is if we go and use stores in every household. And that's why you don't see the big saving that we were looking for when we went to the single stream recycling.
Certainly,